Assalamu alaikum. My name is Afifa Adil and I'm currently a student of Department of Pharmacy. Uh, I hope you all are doing well and fine. The chapter today that we're going to discuss is the cardiovascular system, the blood. Okay, so the first we all know that the main function of the blood is to transport oxygen into our body, and it is the most abundantly present inside our body. Blood is liquid connective tissue. There are basically three general functions of blood. Number one is transportation. The blood transport gases, nutrients, hormones, waste products, and different other proteins into our body. The second function is the regulation. The blood regulates our pH. By pH, we mean that it neither makes it more acidic nor basic. It usually maintains it towards a pH that basically is suitable for the body. It also helps in regulation of the body temperature and the osmotic pressure. The osmotic pressure here, it is very important. Why? Because the osmotic pressure must be balanced between the two cells of the body. Why? Because if there is more osmotic pressure inside the cell, it might burst, and which can be fatal for the tissue, and it might also cause a different destruction in mechanisms into the body, which may cause the organ to be dead and which can be fatal for us too. The next function is the protection of the body. We all know that blood helps us in the protection of the body. How? By forming clots. Whenever we get different cuts, or you can say we have different wounds into our body, or if we might get hurt, the blood forms clots into our body, and it prevents basically the blood, the you can say the loss of too much blood. If there will be loss of so much blood, so it might cause us anemia. So next is what white blood cells. The white blood cells help us in protection, as it is an important part of our immune system, and it prevents the body from from the attack of different bacteria and viruses. And if it attacks, it might help in forming a different, you can say, defense mechanism into the body. Next we have the proteins. We all know that the different proteins are also involved in clotting processes like fibrinogen, and different enzymes are also there inside our body. Next are the components of the blood. The basic components of the blood is the blood plasma. The blood plasma is a water liquid extracellular matrix which contains 91.5% water, 8.5% solutes, primarily proteins. Okay, we all know that basically the blood is composed of, mostly part of it is water, plasma, 8.5% are solutes, different. And the next are what? Hepatocytes. Hepatocytes synthesize most plasma proteins. Okay, hepatocytes form different plasma proteins, which are the albumins, fibrinogens, and antibodies. Next are other solutes, include electrolytes, nutrients, enzymes, hormones, gases, and waste products. We have different solutes also present into the blood, which are the nutrients, enzyme, different hormones, and gases. Next are the form elements of the blood. The form elements of the blood are the cells and the cell fragments. The cell fragment basically has the red blood cell, RBCs, which are also called as erythrocyte, the white blood cells, is the WBCs, and the platelets. These are the basic elements of the blood. Here is the diagram. Basically you can see that the basically the two in order to the blood is basically the blood has different components, but we cannot study it like that. We have to for in order to get different components out of it, we have to centrifuge it. We have to centrifuge it using a centrifugation machine. Onto it, a vial of blood is taken in a certain amount, or basically some amount of blood is taken into a test tube, and the test tube is basically put into the centrifugation machine, which spins it for about, you can say, whatever the speed you have taken. And after that, after some time, after an hour or so, the test tube is taken out, into which the plasma is above. You can see in the test tube here that the plasma, we have 55% plasma here, 45% red blood cells. And the center coat, you can see here the precipitated part, the white part, which is here is the buffy coat composed of the white blood cells and the platelets. And the red blood cells, the RBCs here are sedimented downward. Basically they are denser, or you can say they are mostly in volume. They have more volume than different components of the blood. They're sedimented towards downward. Next, we have here the whole blood. The whole blood is 8%, and the other fluid and tissues present here are 92%. The blood plasma is basically we have 55% blood plasma here, which contains 7% protein and water, which is further divided into, we all know the protein here are albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, and 1% are other. And the other solutes here are 1.5%, which include the electrolyte, nutrients, gases, the regulatory substances, the waste products. And while different parts of blood, the 55% we have blood plasma and 45% are the form elements. The form elements, we have the platelets, the WBCs, the RBCs. The red blood cells are 4.8 to 5.4 million. The white blood cells are 5,000 to 10,000, and the platelets are 1,50,000 to 4 million. Next, we have the neutrophils, the lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, and the basophils. These are components of the white blood cells, and this is the composition of the whole blood. While we move next downwards, so here are the formed elements of the blood. As you can see, as you can see that here are the two slides: the white blood cells here and the platelet. We have the red blood cell here, the platelet here, and this is a basically slide they have obtained through the SEM, the scanning electron microscope. And the next slide we have here, these are the white blood cells, which are called as neutrophils, the blood plasma, and you can see the red blood cells and platelets. And we also have the white blood cells, which are also called as the monocytes. Next, we have the formation of the blood. The formation of blood cells is the negative feedback system, regulate the total number of RBCs and platelets in circulation. Okay, the formation of red blood cells are what the negative feedback system. Basically, what happens, the negative feedback system are those systems in which basically the negative feedback system, it provides the human body, it acts as a mechanism which basically you can say it causes the body to have a check and balance on its mechanism. Like for example, if there is a loss of blood into the body, and so the negative, what is the work of the negative feedback system? It basically indicates the body to if there is a loss of blood in the body, for example, what will happen, that there will be blood loss and the RBCs will be lost, due to which anemia can develop in the body, and in most cases, severe cases, there might be the death of an individual. So the negative feedback system, what they basically check and balance, and they provide a feedback system whenever the RBCs are low, they provide the negative feedback system. So the negative feedback system regulate the total number of RBCs and platelets in circulation. Like it ensures that the RBCs and platelets are in circulation. Next point is what the abundance of WBC types based of response to invading pathogens or foreign antigens. Like there are WBCs which are in abundance, and they cause the different they cause the different responses through which what the invading pathogens or invading bacteria or foreign antigens. WBC protects the body from different invading pathogens or a different infection that might be caused through it to the body. The hemopoiesis or hematopoiesis. Okay, this point is much important, because the hemopoiesis or hematopoiesis, what it is basically formation of the stem cells. Okay, here what the hemopoiesis or hematopoiesis are, what these are the formation of the pluripotent stem cells. And you can see as the next point, the red bone marrow primary site. The hemopoiesis or hematopoiesis is the process in which there are the formation of pluripotent stem cells, and it is at the site of the red bone marrow. Pluripotent stem cells have the ability to develop into many different types of cells. The pluripotent stem cells develop into the different, you can say different cells.